Shannon, I'm going to start with you.
Yes.
What did you take from LeBron's response to that?
Shannon's response.
That was a Freudian slip. That was right. You did it right, Jenny. You did it right.
He brought it up. I mean, he had that well thought out. So,
Yes.
Shannon, what's your response to what LeBron said?
He should have been upset. I think he views KD as a friend. They're not just friendly. Yeah. They are friends, Skip. They work out. They talk occasionally. Mm-hmm. We saw the interview that they had in the back. I think it was All-Star Weekend they had in the back of the lift. So I think LeBron views KD as a friend. KD views LeBron as a friend. Mm-hmm. And when you hear the term toxic, now, Skip, KD could have said LeBron at the beginning paragraph, and then 17, 18 paragraphs later, used the word toxic, and somehow they would have bridged them together. But because he used LeBron and toxic so close in proximity, you automatically knew. And LeBron is like, hold on, wait a minute, bro. That's a bad connotation, LeBron and toxicity. That don't go together. No, it's not like that. And LeBron also said, KD called, he apologized, and LeBron said, I was forgiven. Considering, Skip, I don't care what KD said. If you go back and play for Dan Gilbert, you should be able to forgive anybody for anything.
That's a good point. Very good point.
And I believe, and LeBron made it crystal clear, where I am in my life as a man, as a husband, as a father, things don't bother me anymore like they used to. People would say things and it would bother me, but not anymore. I have too much happiness. I have too much going on.
He said
but I knew once KD said it, coming from KD, it would bother LeBron as opposed to coming from someone else in the NBA that LeBron James does not view as a friend. So that's why it hurt. And normally, when we say things, Skip, and it comes from or we hear things said about us, and it comes from someone that we know, it carries a little bit more weight. I've said things on air and about Ray, and Ray is a good friend of mine, and it hurt Ray more coming from me.
True.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up.
Were you really?
I really was. Because it happens sometimes where somebody you care about says something and it hurts you.
Yes.
So,
because you know why it hurts so much, Skip? Because we're closest to you. LeBron views KD as a friend. One of his close, not like Melo, not like Chris Paul, not like D Wade, but he's friends with him. And that was the last thing that he would expect come out of KD's mouth to say toxic and LeBron James. But I'm glad KD picked up the phone. KD was like, I said what I said, I'm good with it. I'm glad he picked up the phone, explained it to LeBron. LeBron was okay with his explanation. They moved on. I'm glad LeBron was able to move on. Because like he said, where I am in my life, I got too much going on happiness. I saw his net worth, $765 million. What you upset about?
Yeah, but he did say that KD told him in this phone conversation that the story took a twist.
Yes.
Meaning out of context.
Thank you, Skip.
Classic. It was out of context.
I said this, and we always get blamed as reporters that it kind of twists. No, that's a direct quote. That's what you said. We didn't.
But he also says, Rob Parker.
No, what?
It's not LeBron's fault. It's you.
No, it
and
ain't.
you.
No, and he added that part. But what he talked about, and here's what. In that interview when LeBron goes, I don't know where this is coming from. Well, LeBron, let me tell you where it's coming from.
Where is it coming from?
Kyrie Irving said, I want out of here.
He did.
I will have surgery and not play rather than play with LeBron.
He said that.
That's what he said, Shannon. Yep. So that's where the toxic, you want to talk about a toxic situation where you just want out regardless? That was Kyrie Irving. Also, when you talk about toxic with a capital T, Kevin Love was quoted as saying, there were dark times being around LeBron. That came out as well. So when you talk about why the word toxic was used, it's because of these reasons. And every big free agent who becomes available, when they say about going to L.A. and playing with LeBron, Kawhi Leonard's camp. Nah, we're not interested in that. Jimmy Butler came out with a list. Let me see. He wanted to come to L.A. Clippers. Knicks, Nets, no LeBron. So now when you start to look at all these guys, Paul George, for 2 years talked about coming home to L.A. and playing. LeBron gets there. Oh, this is even better. LeBron's there. Wait a minute. No, I'm staying at OKC. I'm going to stay with Westbrook, who everybody says nobody wants to play with. That's where he wound up staying rather than coming home to L.A. So that's toxic. So can you at least acknowledge, and I don't know, Rachel Nichols, what the rest of the questions were, what they cut out or whatever. But if I was interviewing him and he said, I don't know where this is the toxic thing, I would have just said, well, Kyrie didn't want to play with you anymore. And you even said you wanted him to stay, and he still wanted to leave. So wouldn't that be a reason to call a situation toxic?
Well, let's be fair. Paul George went to Russell because if they don't win, who's getting blamed? Paul George or Russell?
Thank you. That's exactly why those guys don't
want to come to LeBron.
Because they know, as Kevin called them, the fanboy media around
Yes.
LeBron, the apologists, the defenders, they're going to point the finger at the sidekick, the number 2 star. It's your fault.
Well,
LeBron never fails.
If you score 2 points in a playoff game, right, yeah, it's going to be your fault, right, Paul George, like you did at Utah. It's your fault, Paul George.
By the way, Paul George is playing really well. Right?
But he didn't play great. He didn't play well last year in the playoffs.
He did not play well. So, everything I just read about this LeBron-KD phone call is exactly why LeBron will never be Michael Jordan, because we read all the quotes. You read all the PO'd quotes.
True.
Sure, they were PO'd. The family was mad. Everybody in LeBron's camp was mad about this quote because that was some harsh truth that Kevin Durant spat out about LeBron James. And I don't care what you say, it came from the bottom of his heart. And it wasn't taken out of context. It was taken straight from the lips of Kevin Durant because he was speaking the truth as the rest of the NBA sees what's happening around LeBron when you play with him. So to me, that bridge should have been burned to the ground. And this is, again, we're talking about playing professional basketball here. It is cutthroat. We're talking about the highest level of competition. Yeah. The bridge should have been burned. Shannon Sharpe's bridge to that friend would have been burned on a quote like that, right?
No, I mean,
if you were still playing?
No,
if you were still playing against each other?
Yeah, if you're rivals, and they are arch rivals, right?
Yeah.
The odds are they're going to play at the highest level again, maybe in the Western Conference Finals, somewhere along the trail. They're going to meet again. And Kevin got the best of him. And I know Kevin had a better team around him, but Kevin got the best of him as the MVP of the last 2 finals. And 2 years ago, shot the shot of shots in the finals right in his face in Game 3 in his house in Cleveland. So bridge should be burned. And this is what I love and don't love about LeBron. He's just too nice a guy. And he wants to be friends with LeBron in part. LeBron wants to be friends with Kevin Durant in part because he fears him. He wants to be close.
Kevin has never been a better player than LeBron.
But Draymond got away with calling LeBron the B word to his face during a game. And the next thing I know, they're business partners, that offense, that offseason.
He called KD the same thing. He called a teammate. Now, a foe might call you that. You get into a thing and you ready to square up on a foe, but ain't no teammate.
Well,
Draymond called his teammate that Rob Parker.
We got it.
I know he did.
They don't look like a team to me anymore. They look like they're coming apart.
If you don't mind me asking, was the situation between Magic Johnson and Paul Westhead, was that toxic? When Magic says, I refuse to play for you, I need me a new head coach, Dr. Buss. Was that toxic?
Okay, but that wasn't split in the locker room.
No, I just asked you a simple question.
Wait.
Toxic?
I'm going to answer that question.
Yes.
The whole locker room was behind young Magic to do that. They didn't like Paul Westhead either.
Man, run your title.
So Magic won his Spurs that night. You know, like he became a made man because he went to Jerry Buss and just said, we're not going to play for this guy.
Who are you going to pick, me or him?
So you don't think LeBron teammates are okay? Like, hold on, LeBron, you gonna let this man say this when I give some call? Why Kevin Durant reach out? If Kevin Durant didn't think he did anything wrong, why did you reach out?
Let me ask you this, Shannon. Yeah. Can you at least acknowledge with some of the things that we've talked about, would you call the Kyrie Irving, would you call that a toxic situation for a guy who won a championship with you, went to the finals, I don't know, at that point, what, 8 years, 6, 7? 4 years in a row.
3 with Kyrie.
Okay, in a row. And you demand to be out, and you even threaten the organization that you'll have surgery rather than play with the best player on the planet. That's toxic.
Hey, kind of like Shaq and Kobe. They won 3 championships together.
But I'm asking you,
I'm just asking you, was that toxic?
But was that toxic?
That got toxic.
Okay. I'm asking you, was that toxic? Would you call that toxic?
Kyrie felt in order for him to be the type of player that he wanted to be.
We saw him last night, too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we saw him last year, too. What?
He was hurt last year.
Tore his knee out.
What are you talking about, Shannon? Did you watch last night?
Did we watch the last time they went to the finals together? Did we watch Kyrie when LeBron averaged a triple-double?
Kyrie made the shot of shots.
Oh, see,
without that, they wouldn't even have the one championship.
Stop it, Rob. Stop it.
No, start it.
Okay.
No, seriously, he won a ring for LeBron in Cleveland.
Let me ask you a question. if LeBron James does not go back to Cleveland, are we looking at Kyrie in the same light as we look at Kyrie now? Because there are a lot of guys that can play the game but don't win. And how do we look at them, Rob?
No, I get that. And I don't doubt that LeBron was a big reason as well, being with Kyrie. And Kyrie probably wouldn't have won a championship by himself.
Probably.
But I'll tell you this.
He's been in the lottery.
But you don't know who was the player who would replace LeBron. You know what I mean? It's easy to say that.
Name the player that can replace LeBron.
No, I'm just saying.
Currently playing.
It could have been another player.
Here's my question. If, let's say, Charles Barkley had said this about Michael Jordan while they were playing against each other, they were arch rivals, and then Charles tried to call Michael just to apologize or put it in, say it was taken out of context, do you think Michael would have even accepted the phone call?
No.
I can tell you a big no.
Well,
Bridge would have been on
Well,
fire.
Charles and Mike don't speak now because Charles criticized his GM style.
That's what I'm saying. But if they were players, the same thing would have applied.
But no,
I got a better one.
What?
When they froze Michael Jordan out of the All-Star game, did he make them pay for that? Did he made Isaiah pay the ultimate price?
He did.
For that. Never accepted. They froze him out his rookie All-Star game.
They wouldn't pass him the ball.
And when they wouldn't pass him the ball.
And so
what happened?
So the Olympics, I'll play, but he can't play.
Can you imagine? I don't
That's
know.
dirty,
Hard
Skip
to think
Bayless.
about
Are you
that.
okay with that?
I'm great with it because it is cut. He is the ultimate assassin.
Yes.
LeBron is not. LeBron doesn't have any assassin in him at all.
No.
And he's a really nice guy.
Look here. One guy is John Wick. The other guy is James Bond. He gonna have a martini, have a nice lady, but at the end of the day, the bad guy going down.
You cannot put LeBron.
Oh,
in the
damn,
same-
man.
Wait.
Yeah.
I like
You
that,
just
Skip.
crossed the line. You cannot put LeBron James in the same sentence with either James Bond or John Wick. Michael Jordan is John Wick plus James Bond. He is a combination of both of them.
No.
Yep.
Oh, bro.
We need like
Bond
10
does
more
not-
minutes
there's no
for this
Bond
discussion.
taken
We'll
anymore.
leave it for now. Rob,
Nice
thank
call.
you for joining us
Stop.
today.